So this morning, we are welcoming Amy Steinberg. And one of the great things about having the musicians send us their videos in advance for the Sundays that we do that is that once in a while, if someone has a last-minute possibility of being here live, then we can shift those videos to a different Sunday. And that's what happened with Amy, because we moved her videos from the Sunday that Eddie Watkins Jr. was actually here with us to today. So without further ado, we're going to have Amy Steinberg here, and she is back east. She is the founder of the House of Love and Light, which is an online spiritual community. She's been involved in New Thought for a long time, been the music director in San Diego, Charlotte, North Carolina, Boca Raton, and she is, of course, an award-winning singer and songwriter and storyteller, but she's also an artist. The colorful things that you see behind her, they're always different every month when she's here. She paints those herself. So she's always delighted to be with us, and we're grateful to have her. Please stand and join me in this song that you know very well with Amy Steinberg.
Good morning, Rev Mary and Golden Gate. I thought it would be fun this morning to sing a song that we all know, and especially because it's been storming a lot here on the east. And so I know out there you often have gray skies. So this one's for you. I know you're going to know it. So I can see clearly. Sing it with me. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Come on. I think I can make it now. The pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here's that rainbow. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Look all around. Look all around. There's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead. There's nothing but blue skies. From the top, sing it with me. I can see clearly. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds, come on. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. One more time. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. A classic.
Yes, very good. Give yourselves a hand. Nicely done. Nicely done. That was great. So now that we've raised our voices together, we're going to take some time to turn within and just get centered on the inside as one. And so in order to do that, I'm going to invite our morning practitioner, Reverend M. Louise Mann, to come up and do the opening for us. God, come on up here, M. Louise. Otherwise, they can't see you.
Well, I couldn't resist singing. And remembering that this is a day that for us to just remember that God is here right now in this very moment and every moment. And that there is always that light and that love always present. And I am knowing this morning that we are open to that sweet presence of the divine within us. That we know that there is always that guidance, that love, that goodness. And so as we just remember and go within this morning to that place where we know who we truly are, the beloveds, and we just prepare to be together. What a wonderful thing, a joy to join together, whether we were here in this room or together online. We are just opening to God's presence, to that love and goodness that lives in each one of us. And so I know as our beloved Mary, Reverend Mary speaks today, we just take that in, knowing that there is that place within us always that is available to love us and support us and is always present. And so I just accept this good. I give thanks for it. And I release this word into the law, knowing that this is the truth. And together we say, and so it is.
I'm gonna lay my burden down now. I'm gonna leave it on the ground. This freedom I am feeling well. It can't be found when I'm looking down. No, 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 no. I'm gonna climb up to the mountains, spread my wings and fly, fly, fly. All these blessings I'm counting well. I got more than all the stars in the sky. Got more than all the stars in the sky. I got more than all the stars in the sky. I feel light as a feather, floating on an angel's wing. I won't worry about the weather, 'cause I am one with everything. I am one with everything. I'm one with everything. I am 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 one with everything. We are unstoppable, just like the wind. Anything is possible from God within. The root is good in each of us here. And the nature of love is in everyone, everywhere. What? Spirit originates, spirit orchestrates, willingness, gratitude create your fate. One power, one people under one sun. Peace, love, joy, and freedom. I am one with everything. Yes, I am one with everything. This peace that penetrates me moves quicker than a laser beam. Oh, the devil cannot faze me, 'cause I'm one with everything. I am 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 one with everything. Yeah. Oh.
All right. Thank you, Amy. And we're coming into a whole new month. This is the month of June, and the theme for this month is Holy Boldness. And the reason I chose this particular photograph to represent holy boldness is because walking up the side of a mountain, even on stairs, when there's a great steep divide on the other side of me and the stairs don't look too secure, that's not necessarily my happy place. It requires a certain amount of boldness for me to even say, okay, I'll walk up that thing. So, and this one is better than some, but holy boldness. So we're talking about that this month. And this morning, I'm speaking about standing on the threshold. This is like hanging 10 over the edge of the threshold, about to step over it into we don't know what. Edwin Gaines, who is a Unity Prosperity teacher, likes to say that when you come to the end of all the light you know, so you're like way out on the skinny branches, one of two things will happen. Either you will be given something solid to stand on, or you will be taught to fly. So we're on the threshold, on that very edge. The question is, when we step out, will we soar, or will we find something solid to stand on? Either way, standing on the threshold is where the scary place is, because we don't know yet. So when we're standing on the threshold, a whole lot of things can go through our minds. Excitement, fear, anxiety, the desire to turn around and go back. I remember my very first year in high school, because I had gone to a Catholic school where I was in the same school from right through 8th grade. And then I went into 4 years of high school, a Catholic high school. So I was somewhere else with a whole big bunch of people from all over the place. And I remember that first year, there were times in my freshman year in high school where I really wanted to go back and be an 8th grader again, because it was nice being the top of the heap. Wasn't so fun being at the bottom again and not knowing what the heck I was doing, having to walk around and find different classes and different rooms and different... Can you relate to this at all? So I wished that I could go backwards, but of course we don't. And so I had to cross that threshold, and then I had to find my way once I got over on the other side. There's I have a Nasrudin story for you. You know about Nasrudin. He's that being of crazy wisdom. So there's a story about him being on a bus, traveling somewhere on a bus, and a little old lady got onto the bus, and it was quite full. And Nasrudin stood up, and she pushed him back and said, "No, thank you." And then he tried to get up again, and she pushed him down again and said, "No, really, I'm fine." And then finally, on his third attempt, he said to her, "Lady, please let me get up. I'm 2 stops past my stop already." So when we're standing on the edge, we're standing on the edge of the unknown, going forward. What we know for sure is that change happens. It's one of those things that is inevitable. You know, we don't have to be ready for it. It's coming anyway. And in that process of it coming anyway, we are forced, in a sense, to deal with those changes that are coming to us. And so the trick is, when we don't recognize how to respond to that particular challenge, the tendency might be to shrink and close up, or to pretend it isn't there, or to try and behave the same way we always have, even though clearly we're like a stranger in a strange land. This isn't working now. Or we might fight it actively, but it's going to happen no matter what. It's one of the things that we experience in form. So as long as we're beings in time and space, one of the things that we're going to experience is the inevitability of change. We can see it in our bodies. We can see it in our plants, in our animals, in our world all around us. If I go back to Seattle, where I grew up, it's very different now than it was when I was a kid. So I'm not really able to go back to the home that was, but I am able to go back to the place where home existed. It is then because the change affects us right away, and then it persists, what we find is that it's not an event. There may be a turning point that's an event that triggers it, but the change then continues. So it's a whole process adapting to that and moving through it as we get there. as it becomes more familiar to us, it doesn't feel new anymore. It doesn't feel like a change. Now we feel familiar and comfortable and a little more safe. So we've all been through lots of changes. This sounds familiar, I'm assuming, yes? Yes, so far, yeah. So the process that we're going through right now is something new. Every day that we get up, we're really standing on the threshold of an unknown. We think we know exactly what's going to happen, and we might be right about that day. We're going to get up, we're going to have breakfast, we're going to go to work, we're going to go for a walk, whatever it is that we typically do. We probably think we're going to go ahead and do all of that, and that might be a day much like every other day. But many times something unexpected happens, and it throws a kink in our usual routine. We like to watch, this is an embarrassing admission, but we like to watch reruns of very old shows. So we're watching a rerun of Frasier and watching Daphne and Martin in the kitchen in the morning, and how they're perfectly synchronized and coordinated. And we see this happen a couple different times in the morning. They do exactly the same things in the same order. They're moving in and out of the refrigerator and various things. At one point, the toast pops up and he grabs it and says, "Ooh, hot," and throws it on a plate which she already has underneath him. And then his yellow dish breaks, or at least she doesn't have it that day, and everything is off. They crash into each other. He throws the toast on the floor. Nothing works. One tiny thing changed, and they threw their whole morning off. You with me here so far? So sometimes it's the way we talk to ourselves. Something happens, and we feel so upset by it or so angry over it that we think, well, this has ruined my whole day. And then we let it do that. But that's a decision. That's not necessarily a requirement. And no matter how difficult the moment is, or the news might be, or our family situation suddenly blows up or deteriorates in a moment without much notice, we still have that choice. We still have the choice to decide whether we're going to fall apart and freak out and let it be awful, or whether we're going to regroup and go forward. John O'Donohue wrote this lovely thing about the threshold, and he said, "A threshold is not a simple boundary. It is a frontier that divides two different territories, rhythms, and atmospheres. Indeed, it is a lovely testimony to the fullness and integrity of an experience or a stage of life that it intensifies toward the end into a real frontier that cannot be crossed without the heart being passionately engaged and woken up." Is Coco okay? Okay. A little water in the wrong place. Okay. He goes on to say, at this threshold, a great complexity of emotion comes alive: confusion, fear, excitement, sadness, hope. This is one of the reasons such vital crossings were always clothed in ritual. You know, you may have heard of the book Passages. In that book, it identifies a number of life passages that most of us in the Western world go through in our growing up process. We all have to go through adolescence, no matter what level of education or economics we live in. We all have to go through, we all get born one way or another. We all have to go through adolescence. We all transition forward into adulthood, and we go through those stages in our lives. So he says, finally, it is wise in your own life to be able to recognize and acknowledge the key thresholds, to take your time, to feel all the varieties of presence that accrue there, to listen inwardly with complete attention until you hear the inner voice calling you forward. The time has come to cross. So, today we are in the consideration of that place. Now, one of the things that all of us face in our unfolding lives is moments of loss. Everybody experiences loss. It may be the loss of a pet. How many of you have ever had to put a pet down? Yeah, it's practically universal. Everybody knows what that experience is like. Some people have lost children in one way or another. Sometimes we've lost a business or a job or our health for some period of time. And all of us at some point let go of our physical lives. I remember when my mother passed, one of the things, and this sounds silly, but one of the thoughts that came to me was, I didn't know she had it in her. To let go like that into the next life is a big let go, but it isn't a choice when the moment comes. We somehow know, and letting go becomes inevitable. So how do we prepare, actually, for the changes that come in our lives? Well, in one way we can't, because we don't know what's coming. But in another way, we can decide, how do I want to be in relationship to the changes and the passages in my life? Do I want to be surprised and thrown off? Do I want to anticipate that change is coming and prepare myself somehow inwardly, not by armoring and closing down, but by intentionally cultivating my social support among friends, among family members, in my spiritual community? I might want to tap into my own inner wisdom a little bit more, to take more time to listen to my own guidance and get a sense of how I'm feeling about changes I'm experiencing or that might come, and how I want to be with those, to really take some time to think about it. A lot of times when you talk about aging, and people's kids want to have conversations about, what's going to come if or when, and the parent doesn't want to talk about it. Well, that puts people in a really bad position, because they want to know. It's natural to want to know, what do you want? How do you want it to be? What would you like us to do or not do? And if they never get that communication, that's pretty difficult. One of the things that happened to me when my brother died was sorting through and having all the family come and sorting through all his stuff, letting family and friends take stuff, and then sorting through all of the paperwork that had to be dealt with, everything he was a member of, any place that he paid something, and get all of those things figured out. And what that told me in that experience of creating a big spreadsheet for all this stuff was that I would want to prepare a little better for my own son, so that when that time comes for me, he's not left with just a million things to try and pull together. Does that make sense? And so it gave me a different perspective, which really was helpful. Shakti Gawain says, what I am actually saying is that we need to be willing to let our intuition guide us. We need to be willing to let our intuition guide us, and then be willing to follow that guidance directly and fearlessly. Sometimes we have an inner sense that starts to niggle at us that something ought to be done, that we need to handle something or do something, but it's not urgent. And so we just kind of shuffle it off to the side. I know I do that. And then it floats around there. Oh, I got to finish this. This needs to be done. And it floats around there until enough other things join it in that realm that it drops to the bottom and I forget all about it. Does that ever happen to you? That's why I've started telling people, if we've been emailing about something and you've left it with me and not heard from me, don't feel like you're being a pest. If you check back in to find out, am I still doing that, or have I forgotten about it? Because I promise not to be insulted, because sometimes it ends up on the bottom of these are things I need to do in this compartment. Does this make sense? Do you have this happen to you at all? No? Maybe it's just me. Christopher Reeve, Superman who wound up in a wheelchair. You all know Christopher Reeve? He said, we all have a little voice inside us that will guide us. It may be God, I don't know. But if we shut out all the noise and clutter from our lives and listen to that voice, it will tell us the right thing to do. So even in the situation that he found himself in, that was something he could speak to. What to do, which is usually a verb used for someone who can move. And yet it also reflects, what do I say? When do I say it? All of those sorts of things as well. Sanaya Roman said, all you need to do to receive guidance is to ask for it and listen. So when we want to prepare for crossing a threshold, we want to cultivate our willingness and maybe our curiosity about what's coming. How's that going to be? We might want to ask other people, have you experienced this? What did you do? We might want to read about it. We might want to meditate about it or talk about it with a therapist or a practitioner. We might want to pray about it or do our spiritual practices so that we are grounded and awake and listening for that inner guidance, that we're tuned in. I know that when I get stressed about time and tasks, when they both seem to be crowding me, that I start to get a little jangled whenever there are interruptions in the process I'm dealing with, because I feel like I can't take my focus away from that to something else and then find my way back to it with a degree of confidence that I will be able to go right back and find my place and keep going. And what I would like to do instead is take a breath, get grounded, respond to whatever it is that needs to be responded to, and then take another breath and move back in. But when I feel time pressured, I try and rush those transitions. And when I try and rush those transitions between things, I begin to feel more stressed. I begin to feel less grounded and more anxious. So I want to be able to rely on my meditation and my prayer and my reading to help me remember what I want to choose in those moments. Because otherwise the rush of worry or concern or time crunch will have me forget to do what I know works for me. So maybe you find this happens with you sometimes too, that we don't often in the West take enough time with the transitions between one thing and the next thing so that we can actually be present and do them mindfully, which I think would give us a great deal more peace. So in the process of preparing and being willing and curious, we don't crunch in and get harder and hunker down and refuse to move. Instead, we actually soften. In willingness and curiosity, we allow ourselves to be more open and vulnerable to what is approaching, to what wants to be received by us. And what happens when we do that is we become approachable. And when we are approachable, we attract support. And support may come to us in all sorts of forms, expected and unexpected. But as they come to us, we want to be able to let them in, to receive the wonder of the support. I love this image. And oftentimes photographers who do go out into the wild and spend a lot of time still and looking for and waiting for just the right shot or series of shots. They're so still that wildlife around them becomes curious and comes to check it out. This guy has what looks like a cheetah or a leopard next to him. Very curiously, intent not on him, but on that thing that he's doing, what he's looking at. If we get down on the floor to look under the bed for something, our cats will rush over next to us to look under also. Like, if one cat sees a bug on the ceiling, suddenly they're both looking up at the ceiling. So if one of us gets down, they're also curious. What's under there? What are you looking for? What are you looking at? I want to see. Little kids will do the very same thing. In fact, you know, if you're out in public somewhere and you start looking fixedly up, other people are going to look up too. Like, what's she looking at? Have you ever done that? You see somebody and you look to see what it is they're looking at or looking for. You may or may not see it. Ernest Holmes wrote in this thing called You, learn to exchange fears, doubts, and uncertainties for faith. There is a power which flows out through your words of faith. There is a law of faith which has the power to bring into your life everything you need. But the caveat to that is we have to be available to let that in, because if we don't become available, it might float by and we wouldn't notice. Now, the universe never gives up on us. It will always bring back opportunities a little bit louder and a little bit more obvious if we miss it the first time. But the thing about making ourselves available is that other people will be drawn to what we're doing, what we're focused on, the energy around us. You know, at some point in the Gospels, Jesus is supposed to have said, "And I, if I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto me." Meaning, and this is my metaphysical interpretation, so, you know, take it with a grain of salt, but meaning, not just if I'm resurrected, everybody will notice me and, you know, be attracted to me, but rather when we support each other and when I am willing to be supported, others are attracted to that and they join maybe in supporting me or supporting each other. So when we make ourselves available, when we make ourselves willing and curious and open, we become more attractive to other people. And I don't necessarily mean in terms of looks, but there's something energetically about us that draws to us more of what we need, particularly when we have the faith and awareness that the universe will bring to us what we need when we open up and ask for it and we're receptive to it. Yes? John O'Donohue also said, your soul knows the geography of your destiny. Your soul alone has the map of your future. Therefore, you can trust this indirect, oblique side of yourself. If you do, it will take you where you need to go, but more important, it will teach you a kindness of rhythm in your journey. Beholding beauty dignifies your life. It heals you and calls you out beyond the smallness of your limitations to experience new horizons. To experience beauty is to have your life enlarged. So maybe in some of these situations where we're standing on the threshold of change, what we want to do is look for beauty somewhere around us and take it in and breathe it in and refuse to minimize it in the face of what we think the challenge is or the fearsomeness of the unknown. To keep the beauty as we step forward over that threshold, to trust that beauty goes with us because it's part of us, it's part of what we're made from. So when we step forward, if we believe, as we say we do, that God is present everywhere, that God is all there is, then when we step over that threshold into whatever that is, beauty will be there for us too. Even if it takes us a moment or a year or a couple of years to adjust to the beauty that we find in this changed circumstance. I love this little story about a change that changed everything. A man was asked to paint a boat. He brought his paint and brushes and began to paint the boat a bright red, as the owner had asked him to do. And while painting, he noticed a small hole in the hull and quietly repaired it. When he finished painting, he received his money and he left. The next day, the owner of the boat came to the painter and presented him with a nice check, much higher than the payment for painting. The painter was surprised. He said, "You've already paid me for painting the boat, sir." "Ah, but this is not for the paint job. It's for repairing the hole in the boat." Oh, it was such a small service. Certainly, it's not worth paying such a high amount for something so insignificant. My dear friend, you do not understand. Let me tell you what happened. When I asked you to paint the boat, I forgot to mention the hole. When the boat dried, my kids took the boat and went on a fishing trip. They did not know there was a hole. I was not at home at the time. When I returned and noticed they had taken the boat, I was desperate because I remembered that the boat had a hole. Imagine my relief and joy when I saw them returning from fishing. Then I examined the boat and found that you had repaired the hole. You see now what you did? You saved the life of my children. I do not have enough money to pay for your small good deed. When change happens, one of the blessings it offers us is it wakes us up. We can't go into a change and not notice that it's happening. We can pretend it isn't happening, but we can't not notice it. Our system goes into a moment of a flash, almost like an electric shock, and then the change unfolds and we respond somehow. That moment of the shock is the moment that wakes us up. And we have an opportunity then to step into a kind of transformative experience. How can I do this differently? How can I think about this differently? How can I respond in a way that forwards good in my life? What can I do differently than my habits might incline me to do? In that moment of shock, we have a choice. We can allow ourselves to go on automatic and do what we always do. And if what we always do is very successful, then that's probably fine. But usually a shock in our lives, a change that comes upon us like that, is actually there because a shock is exactly what we need in order to give us that possibility, that moment. You know, Ram Dass said at one point something like, every moment of our lives, the universe has crafted as a perfect opportunity, a perfect moment for us to wake up, if we choose to do it, to wake up. Now, I don't know, I think I would like to choose to do that, but clearly some part of me is not ready because I don't think I have come completely awake. If you have, I would love to talk to you. It happens. In that mystical process. I had a meeting this past week with a couple of women authors who both had a number of, but at least one major transformative mystical experience so profound that it changed the rest of their lives. And I had this conversation with them because they are interested in doing some kind of workshops with us. They're interested in telling you their stories about moving into this mystic realm, which I thought sounded like a really great idea. Are you interested in something like that? Would you find that interesting? I think what we'll do is we'll put out some kind of an interest sheet and see how many people find that an interesting idea. And then we'll figure it out, from there and put it all together. So whatever threshold you may be standing on right now, you're being invited into holy boldness. However large or small the upset or the change or the requirement is that's inviting you into it. It is the universe offering you an opportunity to be both grounded and willing, that holy boldness that lets us step forward. And next week I'm doing a workshop on crossing a sacred threshold, so if you want to, you can sign up for that. I'll say a little bit more about it during announcements. But this crossing the threshold, this is an important image, I find, for me, because we're constantly doing it. And I'm attracted to photographs like this of paths and walkways and forest crossroads and things like that. So we want to, together this month, explore this holy boldness idea and recognize the places where we've already demonstrated that we have some holy boldness. Therefore, we know it's in us to do it again. And I'm going to invite you this month of June, to take another step forward into holy boldness. Namaste. Now, please join me now in prayer as we anchor this. In this space of the infinite presence of the mystery, the divine, the great spirit, God. This presence is everywhere around us, in everything around us. That which has been made and that which has emerged from the earth directly, including us. Omnipresence is present without exception, in its wholeness, in its completeness and entirety, everywhere. That means that wholeness is right here where I am, in every chair in this room. The holiness of the One is around and within us now, and that voice of guidance, that feeling, that intuitive hunch, that magnetic pull invites us to pay attention, to move in that direction, to be willing to discover, to explore. And as we do so, mighty forces enfold us from the unseen and also here. We open our hearts and minds together in willingness to let that be our path of preparation, our grounded, open, curious, faith-filled walk, our step across the threshold into the new realm. And we are grateful to know that this is taking place in small ways, all around us, within us, for us, and through us right now. So we claim this good. We let everything unlike it fall away into its native nothingness. The wholeness is unchanging, and it's right where we are, no matter what it looks like. So with great gratitude, then, we claim that wholeness in body, mind, and spirit, and let this prayer go into the law, into that creative law of mind and spirit, which always says yes. We let this go and let it be. And together we say, and so it is. Please stand and join me now for the morning affirmation. When I face, say this with me, when I face big challenges, changes and challenges, the universe supports me in crossing that threshold. Mighty forces come to my aid. I have what it takes to face the unknown. I welcome my companions of courage. And so it is. Thank you. Ushers, please come forward as we prepare now to gratefully receive the offering. Now, if this is your first Sunday with us, your presence here with us is your gift. For those of us who know the drill, then we're going to bless them, our guests, and each other, and the offering. If you online want to make a donation via text, The number is up on the screen. Just text your dollar amount to that number and take it from there. Follow the steps. And for all of you that give automatically from your accounts and whatever, we want to bless those offerings even though they're not happening in this room. So please take your gift and hold it over your heart as we prepare and say this offering blessing together. This gift I give is God in action. I now send it forth to bless and to prosper. I know that everywhere it goes, it is creating a world living in love, one heart and one thought at a time. And so it is. Please go ahead.
Everybody needs to feel seen, to feel real. Everybody needs a little love to heal. And everybody's seen a little pain and strife. Everybody's going through life. Hey, 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 sometimes all I need is for a witness. Can I get a witness? Hey, sometimes all I need is for a witness. Can I get a witness? Let me hear you say yeah. Everything is gonna be fine in the end. If it's not fine, it's not the end. And everything is gonna get good, my friend. By the end of this song, you will be happy again. Because I will be your witness. Can I be your witness? Yeah, I will be your witness. Can I be? 'Cause sometimes all I need is for a witness. Can I get a witness? Your part. Hey, sometimes all I need is for a witness. Can I get a witness? Yeah, show me ups and downs, show me lost, show me found, show me happy, show me sad, show me out your mind mad. Show me you crazy, yeah. We all got it. Yeah, sweepy doo 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 down down down. We all need a witness, and we are one. We are one. So I will be your witness. Turn to somebody, tell them, say, I will be your witness. Yeah. I see you. 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 And you're magnificent. Everybody needs to feel seen, to feel real. Everybody needs a little love to heal. And everybody's seen a little pain and strife. Everybody's going through life. Hey, 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 sometimes all I need, yeah, sometimes all I need, yeah. Sometimes all I need is for a witness. Let me be your witness. Yeah.
So all of us together now, on behalf of Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, accept this offering with gratitude. We send it out into the world to be a witness to that wholeness that is within everyone. And so it is. So for those of you who are here with us for the very first time this morning, we have a welcome table back here behind this section where Galen is standing now. And there are all sorts of handouts there. Feel free to take any that you like. And also there is a welcome packet there specifically for you. Go ahead and pick up one of those. There's a blue card inside it, and if you fill it out and give it to Galen, she's going to give you a little gift, which is a little book called Nourishing Thoughts that you can carry with you easily. And it helps you get back on track in those moments when you might need just a couple of sentences to help you reground. So that is our thank you to you for being here, and also our invitation to you to come back and be with us again in the future. I also want to thank everyone who participated this morning in getting everything set up. And I especially want to give thanks not only to Leslie Giannetti, who did this lovely altar, but she said that Linda gave her all of the fabric that is draped here this morning so gorgeously. So for Linda Kaczynski, we want to also say thank you. So let's give everybody a big hand. And I also want to draw your attention to our practitioners. We have practitioners that sit in High Watch during the course of the service in the four corners. The one over here is gone now, but I think that she was in the kitchen. And they hold the High Watch for us, which allows us to be supported in consciousness, to be more receptive and open to whatever the infinite message is for us individually. It might come through the songs, or through the talk, or through the greeting, or through the coffee hour, but it's here and we want to welcome it. So our silent witnesses, kind of, our High Watch practitioners, are here to support us in consciousness to be that and to do that, which is great, and we're really grateful for them. So this is June. This is the first Sunday in June. If you have a birthday in June, would you please stand? So it's just you and me, Deborah? We're the only ones, huh? Yeah, my birthday's in 2 days. Mine's is Tuesday. When's yours? Yesterday. All right, let's sing us happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear June babies. Happy birthday to you. Yeah. All right. Oh. 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 So you got to celebrate even though you didn't get a candle in your cake. We have been invited, I want to remind you, to this event happening next Saturday. It's going to be held at Westminster Presbyterian, but it is Songs of the Soul, Poetry and Sacred Music Festival. It's all day. It is sponsored by the International Association of Sufism. I believe now it's $90 for entry for the whole day. But there's also a website here where you can go and find out more and get your questions answered if you haven't already signed up and you would like to do that. Also next Sunday is my workshop on crossing a sacred threshold. It's from 1 to 3 o'clock at our office in San Rafael. So next week, if you need directions, I'll give them to you. It's very easy to find. It's close to the train station in San Rafael. And so there's lots of parking under the freeway. It's $20. You can either register on our website, just go under events and you'll find the workshop there, or you can sign up on the sign-up sheet at the back on the activity table here, so I know how many people to prepare for. And I'm going to encourage you to arrive by 12:45, because on weekends, this building that we are in is locked. And there's no way for us to unlock the building, but we can have somebody there to let you in until it's time to get ready to gather everybody. So we'd love to have you there by 12:45 so you don't get locked out. At least if you do, have somebody else's phone number so you can text them and say, please come down and let me in. Also, let's see. Leslie, do you want to say something about your class? Leslie and Lori are teaching a class beginning June 18th. And Tuesday, my birthday, June 4th, is the last day to get the early bird price.
Thank you. Well, in regards to what Reverend Mary talked about today, there is a distinction between the personality and the soul. So we're really going to focus on bringing that together in alignment, spirit, soul, and body temple. Because it's the personality that becomes afraid and angry and violent and depressed. And we are not living in extraordinary times in Western civilization, but for us, it seems like it is. So we're going to talk about everything in this 6 weeks. And the author of the book that this curriculum is based on is going to teach class number 4 about really owning your soul that belongs to you and using it every moment by moment. So come talk to me if this sounds interesting to you. Thank you.
That's great. And you can also sign up for their class back on the activity table, and you can register for it. If you're ready to register, you can register for it also from our website under the events tab. Just look for classes. Spirit at Sea. Some of our favorite musicians are going to be part of a cruise to Alaska. It's going to be a musical journey, Sail into Your Bliss, with Karen Drucker, Eddie Watkins Jr., Michael Gott, and Gary Lynn Floyd. What a group. So that quartet is going to be doing music. It'll be like a little mini Asilomar retreat right there on the ship. And this is a cruise that goes in August of 2025, so August 24th through the 31st, not this summer, but next year. So if you reserve a space for yourself, which you can do now, you have until next May to cancel if you change your mind. So it's worth exploring if you think you might like to go to that. And there is, I don't have a website, but I do have an 800 number, so you can jot that down. It's probably also in your bulletin. And call Michelle and find out everything you want to know about that. Also, since it's the beginning of June, we're on the everybody snacks process between now and September, which means that we are the snack team. And so we welcome your snacks for any Sunday during the summer. And whoever the team is that's in the kitchen that Sunday, that's where they'll receive the snacks. We want them plated and ready to go. Nothing that's already opened or used, so that we don't have to spend extra time with any of that, and we know that it's all good. Those things we'll be able to start enjoying as soon as you bring them or make them or whatever it is that you're going to do. Next Sunday, we're doing something unusual in the place of the Sunday talk. We're going to have Stump the Minister. So next Sunday, I will be responding to your questions. Any questions you have about the science of mind, about Ernest Holmes, about Centers for Spiritual Living, or about New Thought in general, you can send them to me. Send me an email this week, revmary@ggcsl.org. That's Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, ggcsl.org. And just put your question in there. For Stump the Minister, here's the question. Now, if you forget, I will give out 3x5 cards next week, so you could jot a question down. So at least be thinking about it, yeah? And I probably won't be able to answer all of them, but as somebody wise said, and I can't remember who, you pretend you have questions and I'll pretend I have answers. So we'll do that next week and see how that goes, and maybe you will be the one to stump me. I should have a prize for that. I'm going to be sorry I said that. Okay, you never know. Maybe next week. So, lastly, please remember, the practitioners are here to soften your journey over the threshold into the unknown, however large or small. And so, Leslie and Ann are available this morning, and they will be happy to take you to a private area back here for prayer following the service. You can also put a request in the prayer box there if you would like to do that. There's a form over there you can fill out. So, practitioners, would you please surround the room now as we prepare to bring our morning to a close with a closing prayer of blessing. And see, Coco has already received it because he stopped snorkeling. So, turning within one more time together. There is a power in this universe that is more unlimited and immense than we can even imagine. It is available to all of us at every moment because it flows through us as well. we are not only the manifestation of God's presence, but also of God's law. That flows through us nonstop. So what we bring forward in love, we invite in. And what we dwell upon lovingly, we produce more of. So we turn our awareness outward to the world this week with love. We look at every dark or difficult situation we see, and we open our hearts to send love, to perceive love, to imagine love, to be love. This is the essence of all that is, and as we call it forth, it gives it more freedom to find itself, to express itself, to be. We do this for ourselves, for each other, and for our world, knowing that creative law always responds in the affirmative, in bringing forward what we are focused on. So today we focus on the love. We bring love to each person we greet this morning, to everyone we talk to at the coffee hour, and most especially to ourselves right here, right now. So we release this prayer knowing it is complete in the mind of God and always has been the truth, right there, right now. And so it is. Please join me. Oh, that's interesting. My signal went. Well, for the closing blessing, we'll see if you remember the closing blessing and the closing song. So I'm going to invite you to stand. I will lead you through the closing blessing. So we say, let's see. I now walk so that whoever walks beside me dwells in the presence of God, and whoever places a hand in mine is lifted, and whoever thinks of me is illumined with God consciousness, for spirit and all people and I are one eternally. And so it is. And I'm going to see if I can't get the song up for us real quick. Hang on. Oh, am I not plugged in? Can you check and see? My fault. So let's do this. Let's sing the peace song. Most people know that, right? Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, loved ones all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Thank you for soldiering through that with me. Mwah.